Hello, hello. This is Danielle Ireland, and you are listening to Don't Cut Your Own Bangs, a solo cast. And today we are wrapping our Journal Your Way to Clarity series, and we're ending on the topic of purpose. But before we get to all of the juicy, meaty journaling content and questions for you to think about and ponder as we near the end of the holiday season and start the new year fresh, which we are going to get to, I thought it'd be worth touching on why purpose seems to be such a weighty topic for many, 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 many of us. Unless you're one of those rare unicorns that I seemed to envy so greatly in my early 20s and even in my teens. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was really riddled with self-doubt of what am I supposed to do with this precious life and how am I supposed to make it mean something, and what kind of impact do I want to make and what kind of life do I want to live? I mean, those are big, big questions. And I'll even add, those are really hard and heavy questions to put on a 19-year-old shoulders. But yet that is where we find ourselves, or at least that's where I found myself. I have been working as a therapist for about 7 years now, and which is kind of wild to say. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I spent so much of my life trying to answer that question for myself and then I'm honored to share time every week and sit and listen to other people wrestle with very similar questions, if not the exact same one. I'll share what I see reflected in others and then talk about my own experience a little bit. But I think where I see people really wrestling with this is the drain, and sort of like the drain on our battery, trying to find something outside of us. Because your purpose is not your career. Your purpose isn't a title. Your purpose isn't a task or a job you perform. And it's not a role you fulfill in a relationship. And we know it can't be any of those things alone because they're so conditional. Right now, I'm a mother of 2 young kids. And as they continue to grow and move through the world, the way that they need me is going to be vastly different. So the type of mother I am to my infant son is going to look really different, or at least, God, I hope it'll look different than when he's graduating high school. And my role as my husband's partner and my role in my work, like all of these things shift and change with life. And so it can't be any one of those things alone. And yet my purpose lies somewhere in all of those things. And so it's this relationship of looking at the totality and the sum of all of our parts, and then yet not letting ourselves be defined by that one thing. But I, for a long time, thought purpose was career. And I, for a long time, thought that there are people who were essentially born knowing what it is they wanted to do with their life. They followed that trajectory. They either went for school for that thing or they just began pursuing that thing as early as possible. And they're still doing it today. And that's what they've dedicated their life to. And that is incredibly magical to me because it's definitely a grass is greener or something I envy because I never felt that way. And thankfully, I also know I'm not alone in that either. I'm not one of those people. And I know that there are many people who feel and have felt the way I did and do. And so one of the elements of allowing your purpose to reveal itself to you involves a little bit of self-reflection, like looking back at the things that you've done, right? The sum of your parts, the people that are in your life, the things that you value, what you love, what uplifts you, what drains you, maybe jobs you've had, maybe loves that have come and gone. There are common threads to all of those things, and that common thread is you. And what I would like to invite you to explore, it's a very similar exercise that I have used to share with clients as well. You're not just looking back and trying to think of what all these different parts of your life have in common. But if you were to create columns, let's say on a sheet of paper, and let's say it's, okay, jobs that I've done or hobbies that I've loved or relationships that I've had. Maybe you have a relationship romantic column and you have a relationship friendship column. So these are maybe not relationships that you were born into having, but ones that you formed and forged on your own. Because I think there's a different dynamic when you're building relationships from start that way or from scratch that way. And ask yourself, what is it that you value most about, like, list the experiences. So my job was 1, 2, and 3. The relationships I want to focus on are these 3, and the friendships I want to focus on are these 3, and so on. But then ask yourself, what did I value most about each? And for each one, maybe list out anywhere between 3 to 5 things that you really valued and cherished about them. What you're going to start to find as you go through these different aspects of your history that way there are going to be things that are common or that are related to one another. That's going to help you start to narrow in a little bit on a sense of what you value. I also believe that our purpose speaks to the level of impact we wish to have, whether it's on others, on the world, but there's a sense of something larger than us with purpose, because I do truly believe that purpose is aligned with serving a purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean living a life of service, but that however we take the thing that is uniquely us, that spark of magic, that unnameable, unknowable, maybe undefinable thing that we're all trying to search for. Why am I here? And what is unique about me? And what is it about me that is incredibly and innately human, not narcissistic or selfish at all? But what is it unique about me, which is in essence your values? And then the impact you have on other people, which is something that you alone can't know. We may know what we intend, but we may never truly know our impact because our eyes look outward, not inward. We don't see ourselves moving through the world. So the other thing I would invite you to do, we have a sense of our value or what we our values, but then our value, how other people see and experience us, that is, I'll say, a call to action. It's not your journal exercise alone, but we'll say it's like a next level if you want to become the A++++ student of your own self-discovery. And I think it's actually a really meaningful exercise to do around this time of year, because you're going to be hopefully making time to be around people that we really love and that we care about and we feel safe with. And if that's not the case, then hold off and do this exercise to when you're in a place in your life or you're in a place in the year where you are surrounded by people you love and trust. But I find that Christmas or Hanukkah or the holiday season, even the New Year, it brings up this air of sentimentality, right? We're thinking about traditions, we're thinking about times gone by, or maybe we're wanting to create new traditions of our own. And this can be a unique opportunity to ask. I would invite you to look for at least a handful of people. We'll say 5. The more data, the better. But ask the people that you cherish and trust, because that's a big component. There may be people that you absolutely love. Maybe you don't trust them too much. Or maybe there are people in your life that you trust greatly, but maybe they don't have the type of personality that lends itself to revealing sort of the soft underbelly that this type of exercise requires. But what I want you to do is find people and ask them, what 3 words would they use to describe you? And try to keep it really simple. It helps them get really clear on what you're looking for. You're not getting unhelpful information. You're not going to get a story. But it helps them zero in and focus, but it also can create a situation that maybe doesn't feel quite as overwhelming for you to receive the information that they're going to share. But if you had 3 words to describe me, and it could be how you feel about me, how you feel about our relationship, what you think about me, or just 3 adjectives that best describe me. This is totally choose your own adventure, pick your poison, pick whatever feels good to you. And let the people in your life that you feel safe with, that you trust, and that really know you, let them reveal you to you from their perspective. It doesn't mean that that is true and or all of you. No more than a role and a function that you serve and a job that you've performed defines all of you. You can't be reduced to only that. And yet, these things are also a part of you. But what you'll find when you start to get a sense or a shape of the things that really matter to you, that you really value, and then you also start to get a sense from another side, the impact you have on other people's lives, the impact that you have and the mark that you make in the people that care for you. Somewhere between those 2 points of information lies at its heart your purpose. This is a question I ask myself a lot, actually, or I have lately. Does our purpose evolve, or is it just revealing itself to us in a new way? It makes me think about something I recently heard in a podcast, that we think that, science leads us to a truth, and then we uncover a new discovery and it invalidates or disproves the point that we, were living and dying by before, because we now understand this new thing. But I wish I could give credit to who the quote is, and I'm honestly not even quoting it probably correctly. I'm more paraphrasing, but that science never lied to us. It just revealed a new truth. And I think our purpose may be like that for us individually, like our own sense of scientific discovery, that what you thought your purpose may had been at one time, it doesn't mean if it evolves or if it changes shape, if it grows, it doesn't necessarily mean that what you thought it was before was wrong, but a new truth has been revealed to you. For me, I don't know if I ever would have thought or even imagined That's something that I used to get in trouble with in, first and second grade, talking too much. I loved connecting with kids and I loved making friends. And maybe it's about being an only child. Maybe it's just my personality. Who knows? But I never would have imagined that talking, the thing that I would get in trouble for, would be so heavily rooted in what I've chosen to do professionally and what I also feel is connected to my purpose. But that doesn't mean that what my purpose was when I was in first and second grade is necessarily the same. But it also kind of is, right? We always carry ourselves with us from the time that we're born to now. There's that little spark. It was like a seed planted in you the day you were born, and that seed still exists. Whether you've tended to it or whether it's lie dormant, maybe you're in a hibernation phase, or maybe you're blossoming and growing, which, God, I hope so. I'd love to learn from you. But as we're thinking more about our purpose, this is the journal exercise. This is the thing I want you to really think about as we enter into the end of this year and begin a new year. And by the way, forget new year, new you. You are you. You are always you. You will always be you. And you are wonderful just the way you are. So this is not about a resolution. This is not about forging new routines, new habits, new hacks, new cleanses. No, enjoy your pie. Enjoy your whatever. Let's just be super gentle and easy with ourselves. But this is the question. This is the exercise for purpose. What lights you up inside, no matter the task, no matter how small, no matter how grand? Maybe you've only done it one time. Maybe it was this mountain that you climbed. I mean, like for me, I swam with whale sharks one time. But my God, did that experience light me up inside, and all sorts of other things that also terrified me. But that's definitely one for me. It's not part of my daily routine, but it definitely is high on my list of something that lights me up. But then there's also very teeny, tiny little things that light me up that I do daily. But what lights you up inside? And what I'd love to invite you to do is let this be stream of consciousness. Just let whatever comes. Write as much or as little as you want. My hope for you, though, is that you fill pages and pages and pages with things that light you up inside. And if you find that you don't even know what to write down, oh my goodness, that's okay too. Even just considering and contemplating the question, being present with it, I promise you, if you don't know, add, I don't know yet. Add yet to the statement. Don't put pressure on this, because when something is being revealed to us, think of it like a baby bird hatching out of their little eggs, their like little eggshell. The egg itself, while protective, is also fragile too. And so letting yourself hold this space like, oh, there's an idea. There's something for me. It's just encased in this little shell, this little protective shell. But if I put too much pressure on it, I could crush the whole thing, right? You're just going to hold this idea, hold this question very lightly in the palm of your hand, sit with it without judgment, and let whatever comes. But the question is, and I'll repeat it again, what lights you up inside? I'm going to leave you with that. I didn't do much of a personal update this time. And to be perfectly honest, it's because there's so much in this personal update with what has happened in my life in the last week that I think it'll make this episode a little bit cleaner for the content of and the purpose of journaling our way to clarity. But since I'm already planning on doing a personal update, I'll just include what happened last week in that. And I think that content will make more sense if it all goes together. But it has been an absolute honor and pleasure to create this Journal Your Way to Clarity series. It may have come in a slightly different nonlinear format, but you know what? I think that's okay. It's just true to my life this year, and it's just true to the experience. And I hope that you enjoy it. And if you are already an avid journaler, I hope it helped you consider things in a new way or take you to a new place. But if you're also brand new to journaling, I hope it helped you feel a little braver, a little bit more supported, and less alone in getting started. As always, your time, your care, your attention, your presence here in this podcast, it is such a gift, and I appreciate it tremendously. And I look forward to creating more podcasts and more meaningful content and sharing stories, and also bringing in new guests. I haven't had an interview in a little while, and I'm really looking forward to doing that too, because the best things in life are shared. And I think everyone has something interesting, a unique take, an expert position, an expert idea, or just a life experience that we can all benefit from hearing. So more of that to come as well. The link in the bio also has the treasure journal. So if you find that, this episode really lit something up inside for me and I want to take that to a whole new place, you can absolutely do that. with the guidance of the Treasure Journal. And I believe that's it. Thanks for listening and hope you continue to have a wonderful day.